Welcome back everyone to another one on the Craftopia server. And as you can see right now, I am wearing the full nano set and I am proud that I'm wearing it. And also I have the nano saber and the industrial drill. Don't mind these two things here because I picked up the mail that's from my mailbox over here. And I'm very thankful for Peepon05, I'm not sure how you pronounce the name. But he gave us some very good food, which is cornbread stuffing and creamy corn drink. Wow, creamy corn does sound a bit weird and odd. However, the effects are very good. So let me just go walk in here just to give you guys a tour of what I have done so far. And as you can see, there's barely any changes around here. Everything looks pretty much the same. I don't know if you guys seen this already. This is a little fishing area. I mean, it's automatically fishing some fish over there, so we can get like puffer fish and codfish and all that. And I can also get sponges from there if I put it through the extractor, which is cool. So let me just see what's going on. And right here we have is a big, humongous plane. It's a lot bigger than my previous one, but it's a lot bigger, and it barely fits the garage. Like, you can see that it's like going right through the wall, which is a bit concerning because it's kind of ruining the integrity of the building. But it's so big that I will have to make a bigger garage and have to remodel the whole laboratory, and that is a lot of work. And if I go up here, I'll show you guys what I have done. I might have already shown you guys these. I might have not, because I have been doing a lot of stuff in the laboratory. So this over here is the industrial grinder, and right over here is the implosion compressor. So these are the two machines I have made, and pipes are just running along everywhere. I should definitely hide these pipes because it's kind of ugly, and I don't want my laboratory to look like a mess. And this is the elevator that I have put up here, and we're on top of the roof. But I was thinking about changing and remodeling the lab a little bit. Maybe get rid of the sunroof so I could build a little bit higher, so it could be like on par with this level. But I don't know. Maybe I should do that, and don't mind that. But I'm not sure if I'm going to build it higher, so the elevator right here can just still go up here, and I can still walk over and do my work. Because I may think about making the laboratory a bit bigger so my plane can fit in, and make room for my inventions and all of my experiments to fit in one room. Because if we go back down in the elevator, what I'm going to do now, you can see that there's barely any room for these big machines to do anything. So I might think about making this spot a little bit wider, which would mean everything is going to be a huge overhaul in my laboratory. And over here, I'm not sure I'm going to do any changes here, but I think everything here should be a-okay, unless there has to be some changes. But so far, the whole farming area is good. Rex, you know what this means, right? It would mean we're going to have to perform another time skip. Yes, I said it, another time skip. Because building laboratories is just not easy. And imagine just walking on 2 feet, having 2 hands, and just doing everything all by myself. Like, it takes a lot of time. I would say more than 2 days. And then once I make this a bit wider and start making everything look nicer, then we got ourselves a nicer laboratory. And I will have an appropriate place to put this stuff around here. Because down here, I still have a lot of work to do because I want to make some automated machines down here. But I might be thinking about changing it around or making it like something else and adding another floor underneath this floor to add like a fusion core, whatever it is, where different fusions and things are happening. But I mean, in the meantime, what I'm just going to think about doing is expanding the laboratory and doing a lot of remodeling. So I'll probably be back in like a week or two, depending on how long this is going to take. And I keep saying a week or two because I think it may take a week or two. Anyways, let's commence the time skip. Okay, so we are back, and as you can see right behind me, my laboratory has gotten bigger, or massive, that you may say. And I have added some more room, and hey, oh no, you're not going to destroy my laboratory. Get out of here, you creep. But anyways, so this is my new laboratory, and it's a lot bigger than before. I have removed the sunroof, and we can go up and down to different floors now. So I'm just going to give you guys the tour of my laboratory. So let me just look at my mail, nothing in my mail, and we have a Labtron crystal that helps me charge all my things to make it a lot easier. And as you proceed inwards, we have changed the lighting, moved the villagers, remove the doorway. I mean, it's a lot more cleaner than before, so that's the hugest upgrade I have ever done. And I'm still trying to work on this storage here because I don't want to keep using chests for everything because it's so primitive. We got to move towards the modern age. And down here, everything just looks half done, not really worked on at all. But the iron farm is still working. We have moved some machinery down here, or made some more. So we have a grinder that kind of just processes sandstone because this is the silicone machine. So for this one, you just put sandstone in here, puts it through the grinder, and processes to sand, and you get this setup. Or we got to get some empty cells with sand to get silicone. So I'm just going to put it in short, the silicone maker. That's what it is. It just makes silicone so we can make plates easily, make duplications of things. I'm just going to say a lot easier for me just to process circuits and stuff. And over here, this is just a furnace, 2 electric furnaces, by the way, and it just processes things at a faster rate. So I could put like a lot of iron in here, and it just gets processed in seconds. So it's just going to reduce the time just for everything to be smelted. And don't mind this bat over here. I mean, I'm just going to use them for a test subject or probably just some sort of trophy or something. I don't know. Still thinking about what to do with the bat. So we went up this room here, and you can see this is a nice view from this layer, and you can see the white oak forest. I was thinking about planting more trees of these around and remove all these oaks so we can replace them with white oak because they do drop apples. Not sure why they don't drop apples, but these do. So I'm going to produce more of these species so we can fill this whole forest with apple trees instead of these weeds here. Literally just tall weeds with bark. Yeah, they're literally just tall weeds with bark. So we got to remove all of these and put these useful trees, and then we got ourselves some apples for days. Because I was thinking about making some golden, or I don't know, I'm not sure, golden apples or enchanted golden apples. Because if I try to make one, because all it requires is a chemical reacting, and then we got ourselves enchanted golden apples. And luckily we have that machine already in play. So I'm just going to give you guys more of the tour of the laboratory. So we have moved our machines from the basement or from that floor to this floor. So ranging from the extractor all the way to the industrial centrifuge. And I'm just really grateful that we have it. And especially we have this chemical reactor that I'm just going to be flexing because I can literally just put in a block of gold and an apple and get enchanted apples. Very easy. And we have access to the nether. Literally easy. And right behind me, this is another good view. And I was thinking about making some cities over here once I get everything set up. And this is the runway, so people can use to dock their planes or take off from here because this is the appropriate runway. And I know they have added bigger planes because the small planes they used to add was a lot easier just to go through. Now they want to make them bigger so we can go further and, you know, visit the locals and stuff. I love the update, but it means I gotta do more work with extending the runway. But carry on, we're going to go down to this layer. This was once where the garage was, the large garage, and there used to be a doorway here. We still got our scrap machine that still makes scraps for us. We have the industrial blast furnace, the implosion compressor, and the industrial grinder. So we have moved them all from up here to down here to this room to make it a little bit easier. And luckily for us, we have gotten a good start with the silicone plates. And I love the upgrades so far. We also trapped Chandra or something, Chandria. And we have bought some moon boots. Because these moon boots are pretty good. I actually tested them out and they give you very insane jump boost. Like, I just love it. That's why I kept her in here. And in this room, this was the garage. Remember, it used to be a longer garage. This was all the garage. Now it's just this. And over here, this is supposed to be the chicken jockey. But they kind of just separated because the jockey kind of got tired on the chicken. Or the chicken probably knocked off the jockey. I don't know why. They just, I don't know, separate. But this is a smaller garage than before. Enough just for my car to go in and out. I mean, it's pretty pitiful that we did all this and this garage is just small. It is what it is. But anyways, we go up the floor, And right here, this is literally the brightest room of all, because we have is the trade center. So we have librarians and we have some Fletcher, well, a Fletcher. So right here, this is the fortune. This here is the infinity. And this one is the silk touch. And this is where I got my silk touch pickaxe from. This guy named Raphael. Yeah, that guy. And over here, this is the experiment room where I do my experiments. Mostly placing blocks, breaking things, eating things, testing things. You can name it. I mean, it's pretty small, but it's enough for me to do my experiments with a nice sunroof. Because this layer literally has good sunroofs, and I just love it. So, I'm just going to show you guys the moon boots that I was talking about, because I was going to show you for a brief moment. So, these are the moon boots, and once I go up to my experiment room I'm going to be using it for, gotta respect the rooms that I built, we're just going to equip these moon boots, and all we just gotta do is jump. As you can see, we're like walking on the moon. We can just travel without taking any fall damage. This is very beneficial for traveling across the end or probably through the nether, but I still highly recommend wearing some nice armor or just having fire resistance. But I will keep a hang on to these. And also the durability is 650, so that's a lot of durability. Insane for these little boots. So let me just go put these back. But for today, we're going to try to make the fluid replicator and learn about the transformers. Because I don't know too much about transformers, not the transformers, you know, the cyborgs and stuff. But I'm talking about transformers over here that can convert energies to different tiers. And I did read in the catalog that they convert higher energy to lower energy to prevent the machines from exploding. And I have tested it many times in my other worlds, and they didn't explode. I don't get the gist of why they do that, but I guess it's for safety measures. But to get started, all we're going to do is just craft the low voltage transformer, then work our way to the MV transformer, to the high voltage transformer. We can't make the EV transformer. I guess that's impossible because that's unattainable. Unattainable. It sounds like I'm saying all the modiums unattainable, whatever. But we just can't get this because this is somehow creative, or they just didn't add it in because that's just too op or something. So I think the only tiers that we can stick around is low voltage, medium voltage, and high voltage. So we have already crafted the transformers, and all they just do is just convert the energy from higher tier to a lower tier for safe operation. And I might be thinking about using these if I may make the city over there, because I am thinking about making a city which should be named the Reborn City or Reborn City. I think that's a fitting name. But anyways, this is what I'm thinking about using the transformers for. So we got to check the fluid replicator, which requires 2 tungsteel plates, 3 energy flow chips, 1 industrial machine frame, a chemical reactor, an industrial electrolyzer, and a superconductor. And I'm just looking at this. This is some very expensive, ultimately expensive recipes that would require me to go out and look for iridium. And an energy flow chip as well, another iridium alloy, 2 tungsten ingots, 4 advanced circuits. I mean, I'm probably good with these, but the Labtron crystals, I do find that an issue. So, if I can't do fluid replication then, since it does require platinum, and platinum only comes from iridium, we gotta do a lot of iridium hunting. But I don't want to drag on this video with all this iridium hunting, because that's going to be insane. Because we do have Silk Touch, which makes it easier for us to collect and grind to get the platinum, but it's going to take forever. So if we cannot do fluid replication, how about the Chargeomat? Will that do anything for us? It helps us with charging things 6 times at once instead of just using 1. However, I'm looking at this. The The Labtron crystals are just too expensive. So expensive that it requires platinum. And the only way I can get platinum is literally through fusion reactors or just straight up collecting iridium and Heart of the Sea. Those are like the only two methods I can think of. And those are very time consuming. So, if this is going to be thrown out the window, the only thing I can think of is storage. Since this is the issue to all our problems. Because I already have an issue with trying to put blocks with items and Tech Reborn, and then all the dust is here. I mean, it's just driving me bonkers. So let's look through this catalog to see what's here. We also have a launch pad. I never really get the chance to use it. Maybe for like another experiment. We have storage buffer. We have crude storage units. We have some very useful storage. Can we make this? We might be able to make a basic storage unit, but it only stacks one of that item though, which is, I don't know, is a good idea because I have to see how many things we have here. So let me just go up. That's 2 up. We got to store a lot of this stuff here. And, and I got to look at refined storage, which is a bit different, but yet looks a lot more designed for storage. So we got to figure this one out, since I never really tinkered with refined storage in the archive, but this would be an interesting concept to learn once we get the hang of this storage issue. But I believe for this part here, I think I should go ahead and clean this up just to make it look a little bit nicer, because this is a half-done area that's supposed to be a storage room, but it's just so messy because I was collecting blocks for other things. So what I'm going to do is just clean this up a little bit, make it a little bit nicer, and then we can proceed with making some storage, because I really need to do better with storage. But it's very unfortunate that we can work with fluid replication, because it seems like there's a lot more steps instead of just plug this up and plug that up, because everything now requires platinum. So all I'm just going to go ahead and do is just do some fixing up around here, and I'll bring you guys right back once I start cleaning everything up. Okay, so I have cleaned up the area by changing the floor a little bit, but we still got to work on the storage. So if I look at the information, I think if it says shift, or it says press shift for help. So what does this do? Okay, provides the storage network with energy. Multiple are allowed in a single storage network. Okay, so we have to put energy into the controllers and stuff. Interesting. We have cables. Connect storage network devices with each other. For full blocks, we'll connect to any color. For cable blocks, we'll only connect to the same color or to the default color. Importers imports resources from an external source to the storage network. Man, this is very complicated. So I think what I could do is maybe make the disk drive, because you always need a disk drive just to have everything running. So let's just market that. Let me remove all of these. Sadly, we cannot do fluid replication because it's just way too expensive. Like, very expensive. We don't even have any platinum at all. And I still have to elaborate on that because that's just expensive. So we gotta get quartz enriched iron. What's this? Raw advanced processor. Okay. Processor binding. Diamond, redstone dust. Okay. And silicon. Silicon. Alright, processor. So it requires slime balls and 2 string. Okay, so we gotta get some slime balls and 2 string. I believe we have some slime ball over here and 2 string, and we put it through the workbench to get ourselves the processor binding. So at least we have those ingredients. Now we gotta get silicone just by smelting nether quartz. Funny thing, we have made silicone plates, but it requires us to use the centrifuge and electrolyzing. It's just interesting that we have two different types of silicone that's being used here. Just interesting concepts. Now we have 7 pieces of silicon. And let's go back up. 2 up. Go back down. Alright. So we're going to make with diamond and redstone. So redstone and a diamond. Put it through the crafting grid like so. To get ourselves the raw advanced processor. And then we got to let it get cooked through the furnace. Because we got to let it process. And we got ourselves the advanced processor. Next stage. Now we got to make quartz enriched iron, which requires iron ingots and nether quartz. So I think for this one, there's going to be a lot of nether quartz involved. And luckily for us, we do have Fortune 3 on our industrial drill to make life a lot easier. So let's just go and process this through the workbench. Now we have 64 of this quartz enriched iron. Easy. Now we're going to make a machine which requires stone. So it only accepts smelted stone. Alright, so let's just, let's see here. We could just use this and this side over here and just encase it around like so, like this. Get a machine casing. We do that. Then we got to make ourselves, or we don't have to make ourselves, is a chest. Put the chest up here, advanced processor, enriched iron, and machine casing. We got ourselves the drives, the disk drive. Let's go. We got ourselves the disk drive, and all it does is just puts our, I guess, cards in here. You're not allowed to open the disk drive. What are you talking about? I can open it whenever I want. I crafted it. Why are you telling me not to? But anyways, this is where our disks go in, but it's still unsure of how this works, because this is a lot of new information. We can also break it with our drill. That's cool. So we have made ourselves the disk drive. Now I have to figure out how to get the storage on here, because you got grid. So what does the grid do? Allows for interacting with the storage network. Okay, so we're going to make ourselves a grid then. Oh, okay, so this is another machine casing, quartz enriched iron, improved processor, well, 2 of them, 1 construction core, and 1 deconstruction core. So we need the grid to interact with the inventory, or the network of these inventories, so we can easily put our stuff in. So we need glass and machine casing. How to make this? Basic processor. Raw processor. Oh boy. So I will just have to say this. There's going to be a lot of crafting for this one. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is craft mostly all the fundamental things that helps us to get a storage network together. And then once I crafted everything and put everything together, then I'll show you guys the end result. So again, I'll bring you guys right back once we have crafted everything with refined storage. Okay, so I have came from crafting, and we have got ourselves the portable grid, the interface, the 1K storage block, the controller, and the magenta crafting grid. All I just did was added some dye just to give it that color. So the portable grid allows to interact with storage disks while not being connected to a storage network. It can be used as a block in the world or from my inventory. So it can be treated as a block. And look at that. So it's trying to read it. So that's all it's doing. It's trying to read the information. And I'm trying to figure this out. So this is the interface. Acts as a combination of an importer and exporter. So let's see what happens if we place this. Okay, so this is the interface. What if I put something in here? What happens? Nothing happens. What if I connect with the cable? Will that do anything? Probably not, because I don't see nothing. Luckily, I'm still learning this, guys. Provides the storage network with energy. Multiple are allowed in a single storage network. So, if I place this... Okay, so that's all the energy in here. So what if I connect it to this? Okay, so as you can see, it did turn it on. Did it just trunk it? Destination does not accept resource. Whoa, okay. So there was some energy flowing through this. So, So this would mean it's going to need energy. And it constantly keeps refilling. Interesting. And we have a 1K storage block. So let's try putting it in the back to see what happens. So I think this is where our storage disks go in. But the issue is we got to figure out this power. So let's just go ahead and get some cables. And I hope it works with these cables, because cables are cables, right? So let's just borrow some energy and maybe move this controller elsewhere so we can get it charged up. And it's constantly charged, but it drains really fast. So let's just break some blocks behind here. Yeah, so we're just going to be borrowing. There you go. It should be enough energy. And let me just move some stuff around here. Let me break this 1K energy storage. I just hope that we'll be able to master this storage here. So there's nothing in here. It's still being powered up, which is cool. And let's just move the interface over to see what happens. Okay, it connects. That's cool. And let me just remove these cables. Easily broken. And let me just put this thing here. I'm just hoping I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing the correct way. And then we have this grid here. Let's see. There we go. Then if I put something in here, won't that reciprocate? No, it doesn't. Well, at least it kind of stores something in here. So if I put my stuff in here, it works. Yeah. So I believe it works, guys. So we got ourselves some storage, but it's only 1K. And we have some storage disks that are used for specific functions. Like I could put my iron in here or move my iron thing over here and put it through a network where it constantly keeps putting iron in without me having to go back in here to mess with this chest. At least that would make life a lot easier for me. But I'm still trying to figure out this portable one. I'm not sure it's supposed to connect to the source or something. Let's see. If I open it, it doesn't do anything. Let's see here. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to link it. Come on, does it work? Nope. Might have to do some more research with this portable grid. But so far, we got ourselves a functional storage system. And let me just go see what it looks like if we crafted the disks. So, all it requires is 1K storage part, and we can try to move up a little bit to maybe get a 4K, which requires 3 1Ks, a redstone, enriched quartz iron, and a basic processor. Very cool stuff if you actually think about it, but still, this is quite of an underwhelming ending. We could store a lot of things in these blocks we can store. And as you can see, I'm just going to put everything in here just like so. And they're all in the network, but it can only store up to 1,024 items. Still, it's still a W for me. And I might think about using that instead of just working with these other crazy things. But I might add some more controllers if I ever wanted to make something a little bit more sophisticating. But I think what I should do for the last part is maybe going more towards getting a 4K storage or maybe 16. I think I can probably do 16, but we don't have enough gold. And I had to make a lot of errands to the nether to get some gold. But I think we can make ourselves a 4K storage, since that seems possible. So, we're going to make ourselves this control block, or this storage block here specifically, and all we just need is a 4K storage part just to wrap this up, because that's all we need to store our goods. And we will say goodbye to chests. All right, so all we gotta do is put this in. Now we got ourselves these 4K storage part. And we gotta go over here. Gotta look at my crafting grid because I don't trust it if I ever move something. We break this and we just combine it in our workbench. And look at that. Now we got ourselves a 1K storage part. So it kind of just reuses what we have here. That's pretty cool. And we just plug it up. And now look at that. Now we have more storage. And you know what this means? I think it's time for me just to, I guess, haul some blocks in here. Like, look at that. We could just store just about anything. And the more we keep adding, the better. And I don't have to depend on chests anymore. So, let's just go ahead and move our ores down here. Okay, so I have moved just about everything from the chests into this storage unit. And the good thing, I can just go through this easily. And also, we have the crafter as well. So we can also put our stuff in here and craft. Makes it a lot easier for us just to instantly craft things without a problem. And we only have 3,056 storage in here. And I could add some more stuff in here, but I don't want to do that. Because that's just going to overwhelm this system. And I may have to collect some more materials so I can make myself the 16K storage part. Because once I make this one, then we'll be able to store all of this in here. And you will never ever see me have to use a chest again. And I also did forget to show you guys the whole plane here. Because I did mention about the runway earlier. But everything else, we're ahead. We have moved from using chests to now becoming a lot more modern. And look at this. Ever since I moved those chests, it made the main area a lot cleaner. And over here, I don't know what to do with this stuff. I mean, I could always put it through the scrap box or whatever. But I know some of the locals may want to use this stuff. So I'm just going to keep it here or probably set up somewhere where they can just pick up whatever they want or something. I don't know. And I wish I could make myself the Charge-O-Mat, which would have been cool, so I can charge up my armor easily. But sadly, it's just so expensive that platinum is literally the only thing that's holding me back. And we cannot go to the end at all because they say so. So, let me just go ahead and show you guys how big this plane is. And I don't care if it's dark outside because it's dangerous out here, but we got to do some science. So, we have our runway right over here. So you're already familiar with the plane size. So what they have added was a bigger plane. So huge that it literally is big. Like the runway itself is just so small that I got to make it longer. This is why I was trying to say we should add a runway, but make it a lot wider so it can look aesthetically proper instead of just, you know, look at the wing. The wing is kind of just colliding with the iron bars, which seems a bit problematic. And we do have some fuel in here. So I'm just going to say that is going to conclude for this video. And I hope you guys find it helpful in a way. And that stupid zombie slowed down the whole takeoff. But anyways, we have learned a lot about the refined storage. Now we can store our items without no problem whatsoever, which makes it a lot easier for us to do our science without depending on chests and opening everything twice. So, yeah, that's how proud I am. But the huge disappointment is we cannot make the fluid replicator nor the Charge-O-Mat, which requires platinum. So those are the only things that's holding us back. Because once we go to the end and fight the dragon, do everything that we can just to take down Gene or the Ender Dragon, then we be able to collect the other ore, which is, I don't know what the name is. Maybe it's called Sheldon or something. I hope I'm not talking about the Big Bang Theory, but we got to collect that ore because that's very important and a crucial part to making the quantum set and everything else. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you want to watch more of me do more scientific stuff such as Tech Reborn and Refined Storage, then hit that subscribe button. Until then, I'll see you guys when we're ready to take on the end so we can get ourselves some quantum, because I am ready for some tech.